So this week, President Trump, with not even that much fanfare or attention, signed a criminal justice reform bill they're calling the First Step Act or something like that. And the weird thing to me about this whole criminal justice reform thing that flew through Senate, flew through the House, and with the help of the president's son-in-law, was how much it sounds exactly like what people were saying 10 years ago before they started applying all these criminal justice reform concepts to schools. When Obama and his crowd got into office, and it's hard to really convey to people how much they saw everything through the lens of race, everything. So from day one, when they looked at schools, they knew that there was enormous disparity between black students and white students, between black students and Asian students, in discipline and expulsions and performance. Well, there was only one reason for that, according to them, and that was white racism. That's why they sent teams of people out from the Department of Justice and the Department of Education and ask a teacher about this. If they came into your school district, you better have your numbers correct. There better not be a big disparity. If there is one, it better be shrinking. Easiest way to do that, stop ignoring crime, violence, mayhem, and chaos among black students. That is what happened. It's been happening over and over and over again in schools all across the country. Ask a teacher, even your most PC-friendly teacher friend ask them. Ask them when you're kind of alone, because they all know what's happening. And the ones that I have a lot of friends like that, and when I ask them, they are eager to talk about the condition in the schools and how they can't do a thing about it. So that's changing now. Department of Education sent out told people they're going to kind of pull this thing up by the roots. They're not going to go around inspecting schools for disparities, racial disparities in discipline and performance. They're not going to do that. And they're going to let the school districts and the teachers and the principals in the states figure out how to get their schools back under control. But even so, I mean, these are all just words, right? But every once in a while, we just have to remind ourselves what we're talking about so this discussion doesn't get too theoretical, too esoteric. But it's weird to me that the moment when we're talking about, we're bringing this experiment in criminal justice reform to the schools, we're putting that to an end, we're doing the exact same thing for the exact same reason in federal prisons. If you hear Republicans talk about it, like Rand Paul, they look at it and go, "Oh no, it's, these too many black people in prison because of racism." I mean, Republicans are saying this. So, anyway, let's just get to these stories, because we just have to be reminded what the stakes are here and what we're going to start seeing in federal prisons around the country that we're seeing in local prisons run by the DAs and the mayors in places like Philadelphia, Boston, St. Louis, Chicago, other places, where the district attorneys are down with the cause. They're not charging people for these serious crimes. They want to get them out of jail. They're bragging about how low their prison counts are. And nobody's talking about the victims. So let's take just a reminder of things that happened in schools the last day or so. Out in Michigan, have a huge fight, 70 to 100 people of the fellas fighting during, usually they wait till the halftime, right? But this was during the game. A bunch of people poured out of the stands, no video, punching each other, doing all that stuff. Bad business. Oh, and by the way, those are both schools where this stuff happens all the time. Not just at sporting events, but in school too. How about we go out to Minneapolis? Oh, here we go. A third-grade teacher in Minneapolis is beaten and robbed in the school parking lot. Is that the first time we've ever heard of a teacher being robbed as she leaves her classroom? No. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't make this clear. These are black crimes, wildly out of proportion. Now, why don't we go out to Westside High School? Take a little listen to what these high school students are up to and why some of the teachers there are frustrated that when this kind of bad business, when these bad students happens in schools, the teachers are forced to be in denial, deceit, delusion, and silence.
5 teens accused of committing 8 robberies in less than 8 hours, terrorizing innocent people.
They were being very violent in their demeanor. They were brandishing their weapon, the 5 of them.
Detectives say the teens all attend Westside High School, and over the weekend they committed 8 robberies at different apartment complexes, starting at 8:53 on Friday night, going until 4 in the morning. Police say they robbed people in the parking lot or at the mailboxes.
Unfortunately, they were being very violent in their demeanor. They were brandishing their weapon, the 5 of them.
Investigators say they had the same MO. The teens said they'd shoot if the victims didn't comply. After the second robbery, patrol officers and unmarked vehicles saturated the area.
3 occasions they took the vehicles and continued using those vehicles in their crime spree.
First tonight, acts of violence at 2 Minnesota schools. Both are captured on video. Good evening, I'm Jackie Kane.
And I'm Kevin Dorn in for Paul Folger. The first video is from a high school in St. Cloud, and we want to warn you, you're going to find this difficult to watch. It is from inside Apollo High School this afternoon. You can see a fight starts inside in a hallway with other kids crowding around. The fight then moves outside where one of the students is knocked to the ground and then kicked in the head. Near the end of the video, the student on the ground isn't moving and he appears to be unconscious. We learned from St. Cloud Police today that staff and a school resource officer were able to intervene. The 18-year-old that was injured was taken to a hospital where he is expected to recover.
Out in Springfield, Oregon, a couple of the fellas got arrested for having a big old fight inside the school, attacking some students. The cops came. They had to call a bunch of cops. Cops came. All of a sudden, there's 50 to 60 to 70 students, fellas, and their lovely ladies surrounding the cops, attacking the cops, threatening the cops. We don't have any video of that, but we do have some video of another riot in the same area, same kind of people, not too long ago.
Teenagers are facing riot charges after a fight in Springfield last night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee McCullough.
And I'm Matt Templeman. Police say everyone involved was under the age of 18, and there were some weapons involved, but no guns. And KEZI 9 News reporter Brady Wakayama spoke with the mother of some of those children involved to find out what happened. He joins us live in the studio with that information. Brady?
Well, Matt, Renee, the mother I spoke with, told me she didn't want to be on camera because she's concerned for her family's safety. But she did tell me she had no idea her children were getting involved in something she says was dangerous and unacceptable.
They tried to threaten, they tried to make keeping them locked up in the house, so they started fighting back.
A mother is frustrated after finding out her children were involved in a fight behind the Eastside Baptist Church Sunday night.
I don't like the fighting. I don't like, the kids planning on, planning to fight or nothing like that. I don't like that.
Police say the fight was not gang-related. They say everyone involved was between 12 and 15 years old, with some using weapons like a knife, a bat, and a tire iron.
Yelling and screaming, cursing, and, loud noises, fighting.
The mother told me the fight stems from tension building between the two groups on social media. She says her daughter received threatening messages.
Before her birthday, they was going to kill, shoot, jump, all of it before her birthday.
Police say during the fight, one boy was injured by a knife to his stomach, but it happened during the struggle and it didn't appear to be intentional. They also say a woman who tried to break up the fight suffered a head injury. But the mother I spoke with says her daughter told her the boy was intentionally stabbed and the woman who tried to intervene hurt her.
So that, to me, is the face of criminal justice reform. Chaos, mayhem, denial, deceit, delusion, violence, bad business all around, everybody looking, pretending it's not happening. You pass a law, you stick your chin in the air, you pat yourself in the back, and you say, hey, I'm down with the cause. Man, I hope the cause is down with me. That's not the way the world works, is it? And without a whole generation of kids in grade schools and high schools have their academic careers destroyed because of this? This is the biggest catastrophe to white students since busing. You stuck a whole bunch of white kids in black schools, and the best the teachers could do is shrug their shoulders and go, what am I supposed to do? I can't do anything.
Please, sir, I want some more.
And it's just amazing to me. We didn't learn a thing. Now we're going back to, listen, I know, I'm sure there's political reasons here. Somebody's playing 12-dimensional chess. We want to do this criminal justice reform so all the fellas will vote for the way we want them to vote in 2 years. Okay, I get that. I don't care about that. We're not a political channel here. We're not a political enterprise. We're an enterprise devoted to exposing the greatest lie of our generation. the hoax of black victimization. And I don't care how many black kids that makes angry.